Good morning, and it is time to hit the slopes with major ski resorts opening their doors and the weekend here. People flock to kick some powder. The VIXX in Busan is where more than 200,000 visitors are expected to gather for this year's Gstar, the largest gaming exhibition in Korea. VIXX shot straight for the stars with their second mini-album 3 years in, and now amongst the top boy bands, Denny Hong has a special interview. A hot bowl of soup can kick that cold right out of the winter season. Chef Matthew Chung serves up a meaty pot with a fun guy on the side on Korea Today, Friday, November 21st, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Oh Jun-ju with Kim Min-jang and Kim Young.
You know, for those of you who are going to work today or who have work, I'm sure you have something to look forward to, especially if you are winter sports fans, because a lot of these ski resorts are opening up for this weekend. Well, some of them opened as early as last week, but now the snow has gotten even better.
I don't know much about skiing. I've said this a couple of times on the show, but I know that you have to be an early bird to enjoy the powdery snow.
Oh, yeah.
And guess who's an extra early bird this morning? Our Chun Sung-cho joins us from Phoenix Park in Gangwon-do province. Good morning to you,
here in Pyeongchang, Gangwon-do province. Though it's artificial, as you can see, there's snow everywhere around me. Gangwon-do naturally receives the most amount of snowfall out of the entire nation every year. And geographically, it has mountains all over the province. So it's no surprise that there are a total number of 8 different ski resorts here. And this ski resort is one of the venues for the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games in 2018. They just opened business last week, as you guys have mentioned earlier on, and it looks like I'm the first customer of the day, and that means I get to get on one of those snowmobiles. They especially prepared it for us for Korea Today. So why don't we take a ride? 가주실까요? Oh my God! Okay, so it's my first time getting on this snowmobile, and it feels like riding a motorcycle, except that it's on snow. So as you can see, they're getting prepped up to welcome customers later on. These are the snow groomers, which flattens the ground and pats the snow beneath it to make a better surface for skiers and snowboarders later on. And that's a snow gun, which sprays artificial snow everywhere. It shoots out water and pressurized air so that we can enjoy the extended ski season. Oh my God, I can feel the snow on my face. Oh, it's the first time of the year. Oh, I'm getting so excited. And the view of the ski slopes just look amazing, with the skies just brightening up because the sun is rising right now. All right, so I'm gonna enjoy riding this snowmobile for a while. Back to you guys.
Well, I kind of expected Sung-cho to be skiing down the slopes, not on.
Well, she has a free ride up, so when she gets back down.
That's cheating, I think.
Okay, well, just because you're an early bird and you get to go to the slopes a little bit earlier, that doesn't mean you get an automatic ride on the snowmobile. Obviously, that was a special gift from the ski resort to Korea Today, but you do get to have some skiing action, right? We'll be looking forward to that. Now, we'll jump to our top headline for this Friday morning. President Park Geun-hye met with Finnish Prime Minister Alexander Stubb at the presidential office of Cheongwade on Thursday and exchanged views on measures to expand cooperation between the two countries. The discussion included ways to expand bilateral exchanges on sectors such as defense, energy, infrastructure, and construction, as well as open trade and investment opportunities. President Park affirmed Korea's desire to strengthen cooperation with Finland, while Prime Minister Stubb, who is on his first trip to an Asian country after being sworn into office this year, said the two countries share many similarities. The Finnish Prime Minister and his delegation are visiting Korea until Saturday.
Russia's foreign minister says his country is ready to hold, quote, the highest level talks with North Korea, hinting at the possibility of a summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The comments came after Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov sat down with visiting North Korean Special Envoy Choi Ryong-hae on Thursday. The Russian official also said Moscow received confirmation from Pyongyang that it's ready to come back to the stalled nuclear negotiations known as the six-party talks involving the two Koreas, the U.S., China, Japan, and Russia. The visit to Russia by the senior North Korean official comes as Pyongyang hopes to block the adoption of a draft resolution by the UN General Assembly next month, urging the referral of North Korea to the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. Russia, which opposes the draft resolution, criticized it on Thursday, saying it's confrontational and counterproductive.
In Korea's southern port city of Busan, gamers have queued up to try out the newest releases in the gaming industry at this year's Gstar, Korea's largest gaming exhibition. It's the 10th year of the annual event, and with its opening yesterday, the four-day exhibition is expected to see more than 200,000 visitors. Let's find out more about this year's Gstar with our Arirang News' Kim Ji-yeon, who joins us live from the venue VIXX this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Chinju. Every year, we witness the gaming industry trying to win the hearts and minds of users by introducing eye-catching content, and this year's no exception. Under the theme, the game is not over, more than 600 companies from 35 countries are taking part. And compared to previous years, I've noticed that a lot of companies are increasingly trying to expand their horizons by utilizing advanced technology. Take a look. Up until now, people have been using the keyboard, computer mouse, and a controller to interact with their gaming content, and many still do. But companies think they're not enough. One of the world's leading gaming companies, Oculus, has created Oculus Rift, a virtual reality enabling users to control movements with a turn of their heads and hand movements.
Last few decades, people have been experiencing their content with the 2D flat panel TVs. With a movie named Avatar, people have been watching the movie with the stereoscopic 3D. However, that wasn't enough. People weren't able to feel immersed into the real world.
Oculus believes the virtual reality trend will evolve and forever change the way people engage with their gaming contents and each other.
So in the near future, when this virtual reality becomes really popular, we believe that people will be able to interact, people from overseas, in virtual world, and be able to see each other and be able to interact with each other. So you'll be more like virtual reality Skype.
The four-day event is also a chance for businesses to expand their opportunities globally. US-based App Annie, a provider of mobile market data and analytics for app stores, participated in the event in order to reach out to Korean developers.
If you compare it to 5 years ago, you have a PC game, an online game. You want to launch in China, you need to look for partners there, look for servers there, look for payment solution there. Want to launch in US, you need to find another partner. But now these days, if you want to launch an app business, you just need to upload your app to Apple iTunes Store or Google Play, and then instantly you are selling worldwide.
App Annie says they can help local developers, particularly small and mid-sized ones, with good quality content to reach their full potential in the global market.
Korea has been dominated by, in the past few years, maybe dominated by a lot of huge companies, the companies that have been around for a long time, and the Jables, and also, not just Jables, but also like Nexon, Gameville, NCSoft, and all that. But I think next year you could see a lot of smaller developers, long-tail developers starting to make their mark.
The event offers just a small glimpse of the online and mobile gaming world here in Korea, which has one of the fastest broadband infrastructures in the world. A study released by the Korea Creative Content Agency estimated the country's gaming industry to be worth around $8.7 billion as of 2013. That year alone, Korea exported online game contents worth around $2.7 billion. The agency also said the gaming industry creates more than 3,000 jobs in Korea every year.
So mobile and virtual reality, those are the two keywords of this year's event. And it's good to know that the exhibition is providing business opportunities for small and mid-sized developers as well.
That's right, Kinju. But as previously mentioned, the Korean gaming industry, especially online, the contents are well dominated by well-known large companies like Nexon. And a lot of media attention was focused on the Maple Story 2, which is the Giant's flagship series. But also small and mid-sized companies, Hanyeo Engineering is also preparing to leap high. Their 4D paragliding simulator caught the eyes of prospective buyers. And also the country's mobile gaming industry is also growing at an astonishing speed. In fact, the Korea Creative Content Agency says that it grew 190% in 2013 from the previous year to $2 billion. Jinju.
Well, I hope to see more of these SMEs becoming big players in the sector. Thank you, Jian, for that report. That was Arirang News' Kim Jian reporting live from Busan on this year's Gstar, Korea's largest gaming exhibition.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, quite a variety of stories on the local papers this morning. Let's go ahead and begin with an interesting article on some areas here in Korea that seem to be free from crimes. And the headline here on Joseonilbo reads, "Do you know of the 15 crime-free zones?" So this article is highlighting 15 different counties here in the country that have been completely free from crimes with not a single case of murder or theft taking place throughout last year. If we take a closer look at this graph, those 15 places are colored in blue here in the map of South Korea. They include areas like Cheolwon, Boon, and Jindo. And the paper goes on to note that the county with the lowest crime rate in terms of the 5 major violent crimes was Ulleung-gun County in Gyeongsang-buk-do Province. Now, experts explain that crimes seem to take place less in these rural areas because there are less possibilities of conflict as people know each other better and relations are thus stronger. And now let's go on to Gyeongyang Shinmun for a look at this top story regarding last year's controversial CSAT question number 8 on the subject World Geography. This is called Victims of Erroneous Question from last year's CSAT granted additional admission. Now, in the beginning of the month, education authorities announced that they changed the results of this year's college admissions results, admitting there was an error in the World Geography section in the annual CSAT or Suneung exam held last year. If we take a look at the sub-headlines, they say that just yesterday the Education Ministry made an announcement on the results of the recalculation of the exam scores, as well as what measures are going to be taken for those affected by this problematic question. Now, the scores were recalculated, presuming that all exam takers got this question right, boosting the rank of almost half of the test takers by 1 level who opted for this subject on the exam. Now, additional college acceptances will be notified starting on the 17th of next month to reflect these new grades. Now on to another domestic issue on 중앙일보, and this one is a side article regarding the pension reform bill. It says it is a sin against history if public servants' pension reform bill fails to pass. And these are words coming from President Park Geun-hye at a meeting with the ruling Saenuri Party yesterday afternoon. She asked the ruling party to pass a set of bills in parliament on the budget and pension reform meant to reduce the government's growing pension deficit in a timely manner. Meanwhile, Park also asked for the swift endorsement of free trade agreements with Australia and Canada as well. And now let's wrap with a look at the Mail Business newspaper for another side story. And this one is about direct purchases online overseas. The title says online overseas direct purchases at $1.8 billion US, but direct sales to foreign countries at $27 million. Now, it says this trend in the online shopping world is considered quite serious, the paper says, particularly with overseas direct buying growing in popularity here. The biggest global shopping season, Black Friday, is grabbing attention from Korean consumers seeking to snap up discounted products. If we take a look at this graph, there's a huge growth in such overseas direct purchases, as you can see, from 2011 up until now, while Korean products' direct sales to countries abroad have pretty much been at a standstill with a very trivial margin of growth. And that was a look at our local headlines for this Friday. Now following are the stock numbers from Thursday.
Time now for our global update segment with our Eunice Kim joining us from the news center. Good morning.
Good morning, Min Jung.
We're keeping an eye on Ferguson, Missouri in the U.S. A grand jury there is deliberating on whether or not the white officer who shot and killed an unarmed black teenager can be charged in a court of law.
Right. It has been a tense week in Ferguson ahead of that grand jury decision that could come as early as today. The governor of Missouri declared a state of emergency on Monday, bringing in National Guard troops to control any further escalation of racial unrest in the city. You'll remember the mostly African-American community has been outraged at what it views as brutality by a mostly white police force following the death of 18-year-old Michael Brown, who was unarmed when he was shot dead by Officer Darren Wilson on August 9th. A grand jury has been listening to eyewitness accounts for months now as it considers whether or not there is enough to move forward with charging Officer Wilson for the death. Well, this is file video you are looking at. There was a clash between police and protesters on Wednesday night amid sub-freezing temperatures. About 50 police officers in riot gear charged at a group of a few dozen protesters gathered outside the Ferguson police headquarters, arresting 5 people, including an activist journalist. And negotiations are in full swing in Vienna as a deadline looms to reach a deal on the Iranian nuclear program. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in Vienna Thursday evening to meet with his Iranian counterpart. Earlier in Paris, he said he was quite confident with the groundwork being laid ahead of the Monday deadline, adding that there is no talk of an extension yet. Representatives from 6 countries, the U.S., UK, China, Germany, France, and Russia, have been engaged in talks with Iran for more than a year to set limits on Tehran's nuclear program in exchange to ease or end economic sanctions that have crippled its economy. One of the conditions in discussion is permission for an IAEA probe team to investigate the program to confirm that Iran, in fact, did not use it to develop nuclear-armed missiles.
And this last piece of news may be alarming for those who use webcams. There's a website based in Russia that may be streaming live footage from your living room without you even knowing it.
Right, it seems like thousands of webcams were hacked from all over the world, and they're being fed into this website on which strangers could peer into the unsuspecting victims' daily routines. According to the BBC, the website's database listed thousands of personal feeds from 152 countries, some also from baby monitors and gym CCTVs, listing nearly 4,600 feeds from the U.S. alone. Webcams from developing countries like Pakistan, and Zimbabwe were on that roster as well. The UK's Information Commissioner is urging Russian authorities to take immediate action to take down the site, threatening international action if they do not cooperate. But the website says it was not breaking any rules and went so far as to say it simply wanted to spotlight poor user security. And on that note, Min Jung, experts urge users to make sure they change their default password to a unique, complex one, not just on webcams, but also on all devices connected to the internet to avoid being hacked.
So nothing like 12345
or 0000. No.
Okay, well,
complex
thank you.
and unique.
Right. Thank you, Eunice.
You bet.
And still to come, it's not so good to make an error, but not so bad if you're VIXX. Their second mini album, Error, has put the boy band in the spotlight after their debut 3 years ago. Denny Hong hosts a special event for the 6-member group and their fans. So stay with us to get in with the mix with VIXX.
The number of super rich in Korea is on the rise, and I wonder just how much money you have to have in order to be super rich.
Try 30 million US dollars in net assets. Getting there, close to there?
I don't think so.
As Hong Sorang joins us in the studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
How about you?
Unfortunately, none of us in the whole room are on that list. But according to the latest results from VIXX and the Swiss bank UBS, the number of Korea's super rich is now 1,470, so 80 more than last year. So who exactly are these people? Well, let's have a look. The vast majority are males, so 89% are males, only 11% are females. Next, how did they get their wealth? Well, 20% inherited it, 39% are self-made, and 41% are a combination of the two, so they inherited some seed money but also grew it themselves. And of the super rich in Korea, 21 are super rich, as in they have net assets of over $1 billion US dollars.
1 billion.
Wow. 21 people. None of us.
None of us. I think that's not super rich. That's ultra super too rich.
Too rich.
You shouldn't be this rich ever.
It's illegal. Now, next, this issue was a hot potato online yesterday. Now, we've been talking about these selfie sticks recently on our show and how popular they are. But the government said yesterday that it's going to start cracking down on the Bluetooth selfie sticks that operate using uncertified radio wave signals. The argument is that these uncertified waves can cause disruptions to nearby electronic devices. So anyone who manufactures, sells, or imports these uncertified sticks can be fined up to 30,000 US dollars. So let's see the responses online. One person said, testing and verification is vital. Faulty electronic waves can cause problems to nearby pacemakers or hearing aids and so on. And most people agreed with this sentiment, but some questioned, isn't it a bit too late? So many people have bought it already.
Right.
But as one person sums it up, better late than never.
Better late than never.
But the producers might have earned more money than the fine that they will be fined.
$30,000. Maybe it's a slap on the wrist.
It is, it is. And wrapping up, if you want to know what life was like some 60 years ago in Daegu, then you should definitely check this building out. It's the Hyungchon Cultural Center and Daegu Literature Museum. And inside this new building, they've recreated some of the popular scenes from the yesteryears at a time when many flew to Daegu to escape the Korean War. So there's a street market, as well as old-fashioned cafes and pubs, which were the hotspots for the local arts and culture crowd back then. And if you want to get a deeper understanding of the literature and music of that time, then there's also a big archive of old books and LP records available as well.
Interesting.
Something to do for those in
Daegu this weekend.
Right.
Highly recommended.
Okay.
Thank
Nice
you.
haircut, by the way.
Thank you.
All right. Let's now get a check on the weather with our Chun Sung-cho, who joins us from Gangwon-do province.
Right.
She was skiing before. Well, not skiing exactly, but let's go back to her.
Summer day for all of you in other parts of the country. And of course, I chose to be in the coldest region. It's freezing cold here in Pyeongchang, Gangwon-do province, as mercury levels recorded -1 degree Celsius earlier on. On the other hand, morning lows in the rest of the nation are 2 to 3 degrees higher than yesterday, with Seoul starting off at 5 and Busan at 9. Temperatures will soar up to 14 in Seoul and 18 in Busan. In the afternoon, clouds will start to roll in and bring a bit of rain over the west side of the central regions. Less than 5 millimeters of scattered drizzles are expected, so it's a good idea to take your umbrella with you on your way out this morning. And of course, rain means bad business for ski resorts. Fortunately, though, no rain is in the forecast for Pyeongchang, so it's a good idea. So employees here at Pyeongchang Bogwang Phoenix Park are busy prepping to welcome today's customers. So just take a look at the breathtaking view of the ski slopes behind me. I'm sure there are many folks out there who've been waiting for snow all year to go skiing and snowboarding, and that's including me. 8:30 a.m. Which is about an hour from now on, is when the ski slopes will be open all the way up to 4 a.m. the next morning. So I'm gonna hang around here for a little longer now. Have a great weekend, everyone. This is all I have for you today.
Well, Pyeongchang will be hosting the major sporting event in about 4 years from now with the Winter Olympics. But this weekend, it's going to be in Tennung as we kick things off with the second stage of the 2014-2015 ISU Speed Skating World Cup, which of course kicks off in Tennung starting today. And what a treat it's going to be for the fans here in the nation. Of course, with the international competition returned to Korea for the first time in 10 years, it's going to be a star-studded event for the next 3 days as 10 Olympic gold medalists are set to compete in the second stage of the competition. And for the fans here in the nation, the event will be free of charge as they'll be able to watch some of the best in the world in speed skating. Meanwhile, highlighting the first day will be Olympic champion Lee Sang-hwa squaring off against Park Seung-hee, who recently switched to speed skating after a successful career as a short track skater. And now moving over to the Korean national football team, who returned to Korea on Thursday after finishing their November schedule with 1 win and 1 loss. And for head coach Uli Stilicke, there's still a lot of work to be done. Now, after their matches against Jordan and Iran this month, manager Uli Stilicke's current record stands at 2 wins and 2 losses so far with the national team. And as he prepares for the upcoming Asian Cup in January, the 60-year-old head coach stated that he will choose from the 28 players he's seen so far. With the lack of offense being a problem for the national team, manager Stilicke hopes to change all that as he's expected to bring the team back together mid-December in preparations for the upcoming Asian Cup. And now shifting over to baseball, where after SK Wyverns' Kim Kwang-hyun was posted for $2 million by the San Diego Padres, Kia Tigers ace Yang Hyun-jung was posted earlier this week. And this weekend, the highest bidder will be revealed. Now, with the MLB office receiving Yang's intention of being posted on the 18th, several MLB teams are set to be bidding on the lefty pitcher, with the highest bidder set to be revealed this weekend on the 22nd. And while Kim Kwang-hyun was posted for a rather low fee of $2 million, Yang's posting fee is expected to be around $4 to $5 million, with teams like the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees showing interest in the pitcher. And now staying in baseball, shortly after Yankee legend Mariano Rivera visited Korea last week, another Major League legend in Randy Johnson came to Korea on Tuesday as part of his tour to visit some of the servicemen here in Korea. But on Thursday, he wrapped up his tour in the nation as he made a trip to the Panmunjom, the de facto border between North and South Korea, as he added a picture on his SNS page posing in front of the Bridge of No Return, calling it a surreal moment. Now nicknamed the Big Unit, he finished his career with 303 wins with 4,875 strikeouts, winning 5 Cy Young Awards in 22 years in the majors. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
make an error and become as big as VIXX. If you could do that, right? VIXX's second mini album, Error, is putting them in the spotlight, and our Denny Hong had a chance to sit down with them.
If it were that easy, I'd be a lot more famous than VIXX right now. Make a lot of errors.
Make a lot of errors. The title of their song, actually, and there's a reason for it. It goes along with the concept for itself, too. But with the new song that came out, the new mini album that came out, basically they had a resurgence in their public persona popularity, and so we had an opportunity to have an interview with them along with a surprise from their fans as well. So let's get into it. Each time they come back with shocking new performances, shaking up the industry, and with their second mini album, Error, VIXX has nabbed first place on 5 K-pop shows, hitting their peak since debuting 3 years ago, and we got together with them.
Wow,
for this occasion, we've handpicked 25 of their fans to sit down for a special interview.
So you didn't have to pay for their lunch, right?
Yeah, 안녕하세요. The VIXX members don't actually know their fans are waiting for them, so our surprise fan meeting is just about to begin.
Oh, so they have no idea what they're walking into right now.
Not yet. The boy band gets ready for our interview, but not knowing that is what is going on behind the scenes.
They all have coffee in there.
Well, we got some drinks for them. And this is not an opportunity that comes every day. While VIXX is prepping for the interview, fans write down questions that they always wanted to ask the group and hide behind stage to watch the interview. And also, can you say please hello to our Korea Today viewers?
코리아 투데이 시청자 여러분, 안녕하세요. VIXX입니다.
Nice to meet you.
VIV. Is that how you say it? VIV.
With their new album Error, the group has beat out names such as Taeji and Kim Dong-yul, as well as other established singers by grabbing the top spot on local charts. Not only that, they have also charted overseas as well. Now moving on to your, I guess, more hit song now, Error. Can you tell us about that song, please?
사랑에 상처받은 남자가 이제 더 이상 상처받지 않기 위해서 자신의 몸을 사이보그로 만들었는데 그런데도 자꾸 사랑에 뭔가 이렇게 자신이 동요되는 모습 때문에 에러가 났다라는 뜻에서 이제 제목은 에러가 됐고요. 네, 그런 내용을 담고 있습니다.
It's great. Oh no.
Oh wow.
Their stage presence is what completes the group. It is not simply their choreography, it's the ability to put on a show that looks like a story unfolding on stage, almost like a musical.
Right, that's why they're called fantasy dolls.
Can you tell us about the plug dance? So like it's the main point of the dance itself.
그걸 그럼 같이 해볼까요?
Look at the girls screaming.
It's the fangirl scream.
Okay, sure. Since I'll be the 6th member today. So let's try this.
Oh, so you're going to try
what
this?
What do I do?
Oh,
You gotta show me. I have no idea. It's always somewhat embarrassing.
서시고요.
Yeah, it's amazing how you're always taller than the people you interview.
내가 뽑는 거야? Okay.
이렇게 돼서 여기서 뽑아주시면 돼요.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8 쿵짝 쿵짝
I look so lost.
짝
You nailed it. Good job.
They agree.
They agree. You were an athlete before as well too. So can you show us a little bit? Oh. Do you have time for it? Because you have a ball. Can I actually get this? So we have this off camera. Can you show us something?
공이 들어와.
Soccer.
Although on the day I think Now, earlier this year, Leo, who used to be a youth football player, he took part in a celebrity game, showing off his flashy tricks and skills, adding greatly to VIXX's popularity. We can't forget about the fans, all right? So can you tell us what do you see in your fan base? Is there anything special about your fans that you want to talk about?
저희 팬들은 일단 저희 빅스를 자랑스럽게 해주는 저분들이 우리 팬들이에요라고 자랑하고 싶게끔 하는 정말 멋진 팬들이에요.
Too. So, as a surprise, we actually have some fans here that wanted to meet you when they heard that we were doing an interview. And finally, at the moment they've been waiting for, the fans come in to meet VIXX.
And you want me to tell you why they're covering their face? Because they don't want their moms and dads to see that they're over here. They think they're going to get in trouble.
Can we get the fans in here, please, too?
Or they're just shy, camera shy.
A little camera shy, probably didn't expect to be on TV today. It really was a shock for them because they were hiding in the back, and so when they showed up, they had no idea.
Oh, look how happy.
Now, obviously, we want to give your fans an opportunity to ask questions as well, too, not just our own. So we did actually ask them to write some questions down, and if you can just pick and choose which ones you want to do. So we'll actually let you decide that one.
Probably like, do you have a girlfriend and things like that, no?
They got to choose which ones they want to
아무런
answer.
제약 없이 팬들과 함께 할 수 있는 하루가 주어진다면 무엇을 하고 싶은가요?
Who asked that question? 손 들어보세요. Okay, so we had the front row. All right. All right, there we go. Front row again. Okay.
반가워요.
저 있어요. 저는 이제 제가 또 태어나서 스키장을 한 번도 가본 적 그러니까 이제 무대나 공연을 하러 가본 적은 있는데 스키를 타본 적이 아직 한 번도 없거든요. 그래서 뭔가 겨울 캠프처럼 그냥 팬분들이랑 같이 스키장 가서 이렇게 놀고 그러면 재밌을 것 같아요. 같이 가서 따로 놀라고.
저는 캠핑. 텐트를 한 5,000개 해가지고
다 같이 가는 거야?
네, 한 산을 다 진정한 별빛 운동산이 돼가지고 이제
약간 광개토라는
헬기 이렇게 딱 지나갈 때 다 슬로건
Some ideas, right?
지금 가는 거 아니에요?
Yeah, snowboarding. Okay, that's fine. Anything?
축구 캠프.
Soccer.
뛰란 말이야. 거기 뛰라고.
근데 체육대회 같은 것도 재밌어요.
아, 재밌겠네요.
That could be actually kind of fun.
이 팀 나눠서.
아, 못하면 혼나요.
별빛 대 빅스.
별빛 대 빅스?
6대 몇이야?
Technology, right? So we actually have fans that were not able to show up.
안녕하세요. 빅스를 사랑하는 별빛입니다. 여태까지 빅스가 데뷔 후에 지우고 싶었던 기억이나 실수담이 있으면 얘기해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
안 그래도 됐을 법한데 그랬던 게 저희 이제 하이드 때
The fans know.
그
It was an awkward performance, I
입술에
think.
그 검은 색깔.
Wow.
That was last year. It's at the beginning of their career.
Hardcore.
Not having the best
두번 다시 그런 일이 없다.
그런 것도 있어요. 아닌 건 아닌 거다라는 거 약간.
이렇게 하고 좀 이렇게 한번 뛰어봐야지.
So we are out of time now. Thank you again for being with us on this interview and of course being with your fans too. So can you say one last word to all of our viewers again for Korea Today?
저희 빅스는 앞으로도 이렇게 에러로 열심히 활동할 거고요. 국내와 해외 이렇게 많이 열심히 왔다 갔다 하면서 좋은 모습 많이 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 네, 너무 즐거웠습니다.
지금까지 리얼
VIXX 빅스였습니다.
감사합니다. Despite their newly found fame, VIXX continues to hold a special place in their hearts for their fans, and with this, they take yet another step forward in their careers.
All right, that must have been a great experience.
Photo session afterwards too.
You know, little do our viewers know that we do have a fan base of about 100 fans that come each morning. I just want to wave hi.
Don't lie.
Don't lie, they're not here. Oh, that's a close studio, right?
Exactly.
It's interesting that the fan club seems to have a name, 별빛. That must be the name of the fan club.
Well, you know, I think every group has a nickname for their fan clubs as well, too, depending upon, you know, like how it fits into their image. But when it comes to, I guess, this interview, a little bit sad that the leader N could not be there, actually, mainly because he had some other commitments at the time. But, you know, the other guys did cover for him and answer the questions as well, too. And for all the fans out there, this is something new, I would say. It's been happening the past few years, but you have more interaction between the artists and their fan base by having, you know, online channels, by showing things that are happening behind the stage. Normally things you would probably find in like the, you know, in if you buy a DVD, it's like the special edition kind of edition, material, right? But in this case, they actually have what happens backstage, how they're rehearsing their daily lives, and so this is called VIXX TV. And so this is definitely something for the fans to just kind of check up on them and seeing what they're doing on a regular basis.
And I think that channel would be great for the fans overseas. What are they planning to do to expand their fan base abroad?
Well, actually, last year they had kind of a global showcase visiting several countries, Malaysia, Sweden, Italy, and of course the US. And the tickets sold out within 10 minutes. Also in this week in Taiwan, they actually had a debut of their song Error, and they actually hit the #1 spot for the weekly charts there. And next month they're going to be premiering in Japan with a new single, and so they're going to have a fan meeting there as well too. So they do have a lot of plans to go and visit these other countries as their popularity does grow. Now it's been a 3-year journey for them before they actually again got this recognition. So I think it's finally about time for them to spread their wings and go out.
Okay, so there's a lot of boy bands out there. There's so many different idols, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I mean, a lot of the older crowds, they really don't know how to tell them apart, or they really don't know what's special about each and every single one. So as an expert, what would you say is special about VIXX that really sets them apart from Big Bang or all those other groups out there?
Now, choreography, I think everyone probably has that, like they have different elements of it. But for them, the makeup is probably what you want to focus on, because every show, they've been downplaying it somewhat. If you look at the black lipstick makeup from Hyde from last year.
Makeup as in real makeup.
Yes, stage makeup, right? Okay. So think about it in that sense. But the music video also, I think if you looked at For Error, it did have like that production value of that cyborg, creation. So I think there is that element too. So you definitely want to check that out. If you want to differentiate them. So think more going to see a show in the sense of more of a musical than you're going to be seeing, the performance itself.
Okay, so it has a dynamic performance. That's the way to put it, right?
I would check that out. So I mean, it's not new, the stage makeup. I mean, you have Western artists do that all the time. I think David Bowie is probably best known for his stage presence, but they might have
Kiss, right?
or even Kiss. So they might have taken some hints from there too. I think they said the vampire concept, they got it from Twilight. So for the younger fans out there,
they need more sparkle, I think.
No, some inspirations from here and there always welcome, right?
Exactly, right? So wherever they can find, if there's a movie or a book they like and they can try to figure it out, that's where they'll get their inspiration for their next, stage presence concept.
All right, Denny. Thank you very much, and we'll be looking forward to what you have for us next week.
So do I. Bye, guys.
Bye. Cold in the studio, right? Right. Cold weather means soups, stews, or jjigaes, as we call them here in Korea. And we're going to find out about one that's really beefy at the same time, plenty of mushrooms in there. And our fun guy joins us here this morning. Good morning. Was that bad?
Kind of, a little bit. But you know what's not bad are those soups and stews that you mentioned. Like this time of year, you want something warm, you want something hearty. I'm wearing a sweater on the outside, but eating things like that is like wearing a sweater on the inside.
Oh, that's a good one.
So why don't we check out a couple of great autumn dishes that will just, get you nice and warm and help fight that cold. So today we're in the bistro kitchen, and we're going to be cooking up a couple of fantastic autumn dishes. They're nice and warm. They're going to help you get through this cold weather. And one of the things you can't go without for any Korean meal is something soupy, something brothy, something warm like that. And a couple reasons why. I mean, for one, it's just part of our cuisine. Every meal comes with some sort of soup. It's what's made, I think, the Korean table so special. And of course, you can't have soup without having rice. And today we're going to do something a little bit more special. And that's torsotbap. And now, torsot, it's a cooking vessel. It's made out of stone. Matter of fact, you don't really see cooking pots like this outside of Korea. So, let's get it right over your flame. All right, there you go. And in the meantime, we're going to start preparing the rest of our ingredients. All right. Now, in making rice, the most important ingredient is the rice. How we prepare the rice is that we've soaked it in some water. And what this is going to do is just going to help expedite the process. Without doing this, it's just going to take a little bit longer. All right, so next we have uneng. And these are these nice fragrant little nuts. And to prepare these, all we have to do is peel them. All right, so here we have 검은콩, black beans. And what they're going to add to this is a whole bunch of great texture. Now, probably one of the most fragrant and traditional ingredients that we're going to be adding to this dish is techu. It's a jujube. So this is the meat of the chestnut. And to get to this, of course, you have to peel them. And peeling them can be a real pain. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's just move these to the side for now. All right, so now we're going to add our other ingredients. Everything's in there. We're at a boil. Clamp on the lid. So our rice is going, so that means we need to get our soup going. And in this case, it's going to be a bulgogi 전골. All right, so now we're going to continue to build our 전골. And right now, at this point, it's just going to be pretty much a whole bunch of chopping. And it's going to be based off of a 멸치 육수. And what we have here, stick it all in here. Open it right up like so. And we're halfway there. So we're just going to take our pot, take some water, I'm going to go put this on the boil. About 8 to 10 minutes later, it should be done. We're just going to pull out the little pack, and we can continue building our 전골. All right, and it doesn't stop there. We have some more. Here we go. And these are white button mushrooms, 양송이. With the 양송이, with the white button mushrooms, you just want to take off that stem, and you just want to peel them. So start by working it around like this. All right, last are the pyogo, and they have these really woody stems. Work it around like so. All right, so we have most of our big vegetables in there now, so we're just gonna add the tubu. So here we go. All right, so what we want to do is we just want to get nice little slices of this so we can arrange them neatly right around and have. All right, just about ready to go. All right, time for the next step, and that's the meat. So here's your meat that you've kept in your refrigerator. And then we're just gonna grab the seasoning base. And toss our meat right into our mixing bowl. In goes our marinade. Be generous, because this marinade is also gonna form the basis for a lot of the flavor in this 전골 as well. Put in a little bit of sukkat. All right, let's get this 전골 cooking. Just turn on the fire. And I'm just gonna go grab the yuksu that we made. All right, there we go. Oh man, that smells awesome. Almost no cleaning required afterwards. Yeah. Open up the pot. There you go. All right. So there we go. And if you see, up right along the edges, a little taste. It's time to open the sky up. It's a big pot of food that you sit around and you share with those you love. And honestly, if that's not a meal, I don't know what is.
we do have that perfect meal live in our studio this morning, and we've invited SJ as well as Misorang to help us with the food because we thought we had too much, but from the looks of it, it looks like we have too little now.
Hearty, my favorite part.
Right.
Good to have you guys.
Okay, so that's the soup, but let's turn our focus to the torsot real quick because we have to get the. See, this stone pot is very, very hot right now, right? I mean, and then you're supposed to basically dig out the rice.
You're supposed to put it in this bowl.
Put it on. SJ wanted to use this actually.
That's mine.
Okay, so I know it's a little time.
This is how Koreans enjoy their torsotbap. They get the rice. It's always the best dessert. The sungnyung.
I wish I could.
And Young's gonna show us how to make sungnyung.
Yeah, so we basically scratched that out, and I'm not sure if our cameras could get it right. I know. It's like I wish I had two hands at this point, right? So
get that nurungji.
There you go. So right on the bottom is the burnt rice. That's way on the bottom, and you just go ahead and pour that water in there. And the stone pot is hot enough that it'll actually bring this to a boil and create that.
Not necessarily a boil.
I've seen them boil.
No, when it's really boiling.
Mine boils.
Well, that defies.
We'll see. Okay.
Anyway, so basically what it does, it basically steeps it like a tea.
Yes,
and so you get that nice kind of roasted, toasted flavor of that scorched rice.
You can also bake it, can't you, to get it as nurungji?
That's right.
As a stick, the tacky.
Yeah, so like a lot of times what people will do, if you want to make a big batch of it, you basically take cooked rice and you lay it out in a thin sheet and then you toss it in the oven, and then you can make as much nurungji as you want, and it's not just the rice that's stuck to the bottom of the pot.
It boils in some restaurants.
Okay, fine. Just drop it, will you? Knock it off. Now, and this is the 버섯 전골, the mushroom soup stew?
Hot pot, I guess, is what you call it.
Okay, and this is interesting because mushrooms always seem to go with bulgogi for some reason. Why is that?
Well, I mean, mushrooms have a nice meaty texture, and bulgogi especially, it because it's cut, sliced a little bit on the thin side, it doesn't kind of have that that same meatiness that say a piece of steak would. Wow, that's a pretty big portion.
Take some of the tubu there.
Don't take all of the bulgogi.
I think there's enough.
There you go.
Okay, so this would be the right way to eat it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the portion size, but yeah.
Don't tell me how to eat, Matthew.
Yeah, he's an expert in eating. I think he can handle.
I don't think he's gonna share. Can I get some too?
Okay, we'll get you some.
And Matthew, in Korea, there are different types of these soup dishes: 국, 찌개, 전골. Can you tell us the difference of those three?
Well, I mean, with 전골, I think the biggest difference between that is basically it's like a hot pot in the sense that I think you have. A lot of it is also the ratio of stock or broth to the the solids in there. So like 국 and 전골 tend to be a little bit on the waterier side in terms of broth.
A little bit mild,
whereas
right?
찌개, it can range anywhere from say like 비지찌개, which is really thick, to something like kimchi찌개, which isn't quite as thick. It has more of a brothy consistency. But honestly, like no one can really agree. We've done a ton of research on what exactly is the difference between all of them, and the only thing we found is that no one can agree on what exactly the difference is.
I like jjigae. I'm not a fan of 전골. It's just
right,
one
and
of those
I think
things.
everyone kind of has their own camp.
Right. Yeah. And the 돌솥밥, I'm sure some of our viewers might want to make 돌솥밥 at home. Any tips on how to do that? Oh, is it? I'm kidding. That was funny. Not so funny, but.
Yeah. Well, for one, in just about any country nowadays, you can find these torsot. If you just about in any country now, they'll have different types of Asian markets, and more specifically, they'll have small Korean markets, no matter how big or small. And most of them have some sort of like utensil or tool aisle, and they generally have these stone pots, these torsot. And it's just because this is a dish that's that important to Koreans that no matter where we go, we need to have a torsot somewhere in arm's reach.
We're going to open it right now, but I was hoping that it would actually come to a boil, but
it's not.
No, but I promise you, at some restaurants it does boil.
You have to. All right, if you say so. Right, and that's sumyung, or is that
my credibility is
nurungji?
lost over here.
Yeah, so there's a nurungji that also does obey the laws of thermodynamics here in our studio. But basically what we're going to do right now is then, because we've soaked it in the water, now we can really scrape off all those pieces that's stuck to the edges.
It's a nice burnt, right?
Yeah. No, so that's the thing. Like a lot of times it's translated as burnt rice, which I think let's on this show right now. Let's officially make scorched rice.
Scorched rice.
Burnt rice.
Official. It's scorched rice.
Yeah, well, which I think is more
black.
accurate. It's not. Yeah, it's not black. It's not burnt. Yeah. Burnt rice itself has a very distinct flavor, and this has a nice toasted, sweet flavor.
I love to have nurungji for dessert. You know, it's always, I think a lot of Koreans would agree with me. Nurungji at the end of a full meal, it's always a must. I guess you don't agree.
Silence from Matthew.
All right. Well, anyway, let's have some nurungji.
See, it's about to boil. If you just leave it there for another 5 minutes, I think it'll boil.
Okay.
I still have faith in that. But anyhow, Matthew, thank you very much for joining us.
Always a
great
pleasure.
food, and fine, it doesn't boil.
All right. Well, this is where we say goodbye on this Friday morning.
And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here on a Monday morning at 7 a.m.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
It does not boil.